It's another day for some Cow Palace barn tours, where we got to see some three pretty stunning barns around our area. Lely Center Woodstock took us on these three tours, so being Lely Center Woodstock that took us on the tours, they're all Lely robots, as you can see, but we really did want to take a closer look at how cow flow was managed throughout the barn. So this first one is a 6-row barn that obviously has, on the one side there on the left, you've got your milk tank, milk room, your office that's overlooking kind of a special needs pack pen. So any animal that maybe doesn't want to be in the stalls right away is on that pack. You've got your 2 robots, and then you've got your 3 rows of stalls. For these folks, they actually have the pack pens on the other side, with the idea that over time, if they ever wanted to, they could add another 3 rows of stalls over on that side. There's that special needs kind of special pack pen where obviously it must be comfortable because the cat picked it as the entire place to be on the farm. Now this was pretty unique. It had a separate little pen where if a cow was calving in this big pen here, you could move into that smaller pen and maybe tend to that calving if the cow ever needed it. And obviously you could kind of stash that calf there for a little while before you moved it in with the other calves. So just kind of a nice area that we thought we might, try to duplicate in whatever we were doing. And while we were looking obviously at, kind of overall flow and how we'd set up our barn, again, we can't help but take a look at the robots and, see how they're attaching and how they're getting along. This is a little older style Lely robot than probably what we would be looking at, but still interesting to see because a lot of the function is similar, including those brushes that are going in and cleaning the teats, cleaning the udder before the milker goes on. What was unique here, or something that I just never noticed from a farmer before, was the fact that these clean those teats twice for every cow. So to get a little extra clean and a little extra stimulation for that cow so that she'll more quickly drop her milk down. And then, obviously, once it's clean, then the robot gets to work pretty fast, attaches all 4 quarters in a pretty short amount of time. There's number 3. And then she's going to kind of hang out there, have a little snack fed to her, while that robot just kind of works away at getting milk. So just kind of nice to be able to kind of watch that a little while and see and hear from a farmer that's letting that clean twice, which was something that I thought was, something to think about and interesting. And then you've obviously got the real-time data coming in from this specific cow in terms of how she's milking and, a whole bunch of other things. And then you've got, when she's done, that little dot there is going to spray a post-dip, a post-teat dip onto the cow to be able to keep her clean. And then you've got this feed pusher that all the farms we've been to have pretty much had and is an absolute must, I think, for ours too, because it's just going to go night and day, work at sweeping that feed in. This is the second barn, obviously a nice Dairy Farmers of Canada logo there. This is a bit of a different barn, and maybe one that we hadn't necessarily thought a lot about, but one of the big things about this is that straw bedding in the stall. I don't know if you remember from episode 1, but most were sand. Straw is what we're thinking, so it was nice to be able to see. Now, if we look at this, this is another 6-row barn, but this is, instead of being fed through a center alley, is a perimeter-fed 6-row barn. We really, really liked the setup of this milk house office vet room. It fit a lot of things we were interested in, and we thought, man, maybe we could make that work. Now, as you can see, the measurements here are 50 by 48. A lot of our measurements so far have been kind of a 40 by 40 size, trying to squeeze everything in, and everything's just coming out a little tight. Maybe we don't go to 50 by 48, but we kind of realized maybe we need a few more feet here and there. You've got those kind of special needs stalls versus the pack of the last farm. Special needs stalls on the left-hand side that head into the 2 robot rooms here. And then this is similar to that last one in that they've got the 3 rows of stalls already built in, with all pack pens down towards the bottom. And right now they've got pretty much all of their animals through this barn, and the flows are really nice getting all of those animals around. For them, they built it this way that if they ever wanted to expand and double their herd size, they could easily just kind of take those pack pens out, build more stalls, and be able to have twice as many milk cows. But the fact it had pretty much all the animals under one roof, which is something we'd like to try to do, definitely checked a lot of boxes, and we were really impressed with how the animals flowed through this barn from one spot to the next. A really nice vet room. Like, if I could steal exactly this, I probably would. Look at how organized it is. My Type A comes out in a room like this that's so well organized and clean and just a nice place to be. You've got kind of a little area if you ever wanted to put a cow in there. She could kind of push her nose through that gate and make her way into the robot, or obviously from the other side, the cows could do that too. Now, this is the newer style Lely robot. Probably the one, if we were going with Lely, this would probably be the one we'd be looking at. When we showed up, it happened to be doing kind of its deep clean of the morning, so it was getting kind of a full wash on, but we did hang around long enough to be able to see it, do some attaches to cows, see how the cows are moving through there, pretty quietly, pretty calmly, just kind of some nice things to be able to see throughout there. A hoof trim chute has been one we've seen in a lot of farms. It's an area where if you ever wanted to, have a closer look at a specific cow, or it's hoof trimming, so you could actually trim their toenails. It's pretty close to the robot. You can sort them out of the rest of the barn and put them, through that if you ever wanted to do that. So another thing we'd probably think about doing. And then you've got these straw-bedded stalls, which, they seemed happy with. We probably are going to kind of look at how can we use that at least off the bat. And finally, kind of the last thing to show off is these tip troughs. Some farms have them, some don't. We kind of like them for the fact that you just dump them out, have a scrub brush, clean them all up, and then they kind of refill and away you go. But overall, a really nice barn. Although this third one was a nice one too. Obviously kind of a nice front to it in terms of, walking in. One of the nice things about this is they have a few jerseys to go along with their Holsteins, which is what we also would be bringing into the barn, is kind of a few jerseys to go along with Holsteins. So just to see how they work together, and how, kind of a farmer manages both of those is what we were kind of thinking. One of the things that's unique about this barn is that milk room, office, all of that is actually part of the overall barn. So like the other ones had that sticking out, this is actually built into the barn. Then you've got, like the others, you've got that kind of calving area, special needs area. You've got your two robots again. And this is like the first barn we went to, where you've got another 6-row barn. It's got 3 rows on one side, then the manger, then you've got pack now, but obviously the ability to add 3 more rows of stalls if that farm family ever decided they wanted to do that. But just interesting to be able to just kind of sit back and watch the cows move around. Obviously a pretty calm and quiet place. That cow just strolls right out of the robot after getting milked. You can kind of see in the background she's getting, the next one's walking in. That's that same Jersey you saw earlier. She followed me around every time I walked around the barn. She followed too. Really nice ventilation setup in there. Probably a ventilation system we'd look to duplicate as well. We really liked those panel fans. And probably at the beginning of the tour, a barn that we were interested in, but after seeing that second one, it is amazing how you get an idea in your head and then somebody steers you in a completely different direction, like from our tours today, and all of a sudden you think, I wonder if that's possible. So now the fun job is to determine if it's possible, because we've got to weave this through a place that's kind of between the barn before it hits the road over there, a municipal drain in here that's going to drain some ditches and some other area fields. It runs through, so we obviously can't be too close to it. It's a big puzzle, so I guess we just see what's possible.